Good morning, Super Truckers. Let's talk today about how to avoid getting pulled into the scales and getting inspected, and what really causes that, inspection ratio that you're getting. A lot of you think that it's a company safety score. Yes and no. Pay attention. A lot of times when the trucks are pulled into the scale, what do you see? Do you see the nice, washed, clean trucks with dressed, shaved truck drivers? Not really. So, first of all, make sure you drive a clean truck. It will be good for your truck's mechanical condition, and it will serve you well even if you have an older truck. It has to look sharp. And let me tell you, it's not chrome that makes it sharp, it's not the stickers that makes it sharp, it's the sharpness that makes it sharp, which is keep it nice, clean, duct tape free, and as original as you possibly can. Make sure all your lights working and all that other good stuff. So the first impression of the truck should not indicate any problems on the truck. That right there will give you, even if you run for a bad company, that will give you like 8 times out of 10 pass once you're already on the scale. So the perception of people, the presentation is very, very important. Now, second thing, make sure you look okay. If you walk into that scale when you get pulled over with your eyes red, bleeding, and you haven't shaved for a couple months or weeks or days, I don't know how quickly all that stuff grows on you, that may not really serve you well. Also, if you are in the rush, act like you have all the time in the world. Back in the day, when I was driving, it was complicated, but you know what? I've been running coast to coast, reefers, drive-ins. I mean, a lot of times you don't have much time. You pick up and you go as quickly as you can to the stop. Then I get pulled over. First of all, my truck is always nice and shiny, not chrome shiny, original shiny. I'm always shaved, I'm always dressed appropriately, and I would shower. Maybe not daily, actually not daily for sure, but often enough for other people not to smell you. Because as a truck driver, you sit in that truck and it's not like it's a lot of physical labor, unless you're some flatbed guy. You don't really sweat that much, as long as your AC is working. So you walk into the scale with a smile on your face. Good morning, Mr. Officer, how are you doing? Here's my paperwork. Don't act dumb, don't act like they owe you something. Be as nice as you can be. Just like if that DOT officer is your best buddy. Because remember, when people approach you with bad motives or, bad body language, naturally you don't like them. And now if you can make a decisions on their outcome, those people probably not gonna like it. And it works same way around with DOT. We're just people, just like you, not worse, not better. be nice to them, and based on my personal experience, we will be nice to you. Know your stuff. Don't be this dummy who just grabs this, cab card and where all the paperwork is placed, and just throw it at DOT and like, I don't know what it is, like just pick your poison. No. Be polite, give it to them. If they ask you, and some will, show me the registration. We kind of like, I don't want to see your whole book, show me just the registration. You know what looks the best? Here we go, Mr. Officer, this is your registration. And if you act like, I don't know what it looks like, come on, man, like, go through the stuff in that book, learn what looks what, okay? I remember back in the day, I didn't have that, annual permit for New Mexico because I wasn't going that way too much. And usually the company will take care of that end. I get pulled over into the New Mexico scales because apparently I was not added in the company permit list or some stuff like that, and I need to get a permit. But I know what we're talking about. I know that New Mexico has a trip permit, and I'm not arguing with a DOT officer. I know I don't have that permit. It's surprising that company forgot to add me. There is probably a reason because I never go that way. So why should they add me? And there was some other guy there on that scale at the same time, and the officer is telling him, you need to have New Mexico permit. And the guy, who sounds kind of like me, just like way less English, starts arguing with an officer that he has some kind of Orlando permit. Like, if you don't know, don't argue, okay? Don't argue. We're not gonna ask you for stuff that you shouldn't have, because even if we will, and you don't have it, and you shouldn't have it, what kind of violation is that? Like, what are we gonna write on it? And even if we want to come up with something, it's still gonna have to be something real, something that, that we can write you up for. So, where are we at? And that guy had a really, really hard time. Really hard time. I've been told by some drivers that DOT picks on them because we have accent. We're not from we're not Americans. You know what? I call it BS. I mean, can you hear my accent? I obviously have one pretty heavy one. And I'm pretty sure when I speak, I make a lot of, mistakes. Because this is not my first language, and I do my best. I try. And trust me, there was not, out of, I don't know, probably close to 100 DOT inspections that I went through, there was not a single one that picked on me because of my accent. And even if the initial, approach was kind of maybe hard to believe, leaning that way, once I approached the officer in a friendly, professional manner, it just changed right there. No problem, regular inspection. So you know what? Stop patting yourself on the back and blaming the officers and everybody around you. Be realistic. There is no way that you're getting bad inspections because of who you are. Well, yeah, you get them bad because of who you are, because If you cause the problems, you get a bad inspection. Accept it, own it, and change it. And now I need to. Oh crap! I'm already at 10 minutes. I'm just a talker, man. Once I start talking, I just start spinning in rounds and rounds and rounds, and it never stops, and it's probably pretty boring. But I'm just offering you free information. I mean, you can pay me if you want, but you don't have to. So, the last and very, very important thing. Every violation, remember, out of service and violation they sound a little different. It sounds like the violation is less bad than the out of service. However, I've seen some drivers getting out of service, and it's only, I don't know, I'm acting like it's nothing, but it's still a big deal, like 10 points. And then some other driver gets a few violations, not even out of service, 36 points, 40 something points. The worst one I've seen was like 96. That one was with out of services, so it was mixed, out of services and violations. But let me tell you something. I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, 6 months ago, something like that, on my way to work, I got pulled over by the cop, and I was speeding. I was doing probably like 47, 48 in the 35. And I guess I just didn't pay attention. I missed the sign. Apparently there is a sign saying 35. It's right in my neighborhood where I live, and I should know better. But I didn't. Okay, I totally missed it, or I don't know what was in my head. I was just, driving nice and easy. And then I get this cop pulling me over. He comes by the window and he's asking me, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I'm like, "Mr. Officer, I really don't." He's like, "You were speeding." I'm like, "I was speeding, right? Isn't that speed limit here 45? He's like, "No, it's actually 35. And guess what? I was like, "Mr. Officer, my bad, I missed it. I live in this area, I should know better." So he asked me for a license and registration. I gave him that. He walked back to the car, probably checked me out, and because I keep my record clean, one way or another, I'm not that bad driver and violator of the rules. I usually drive reasonably within speed limit as much as I can, and just paying attention to surroundings. Once you drive to work every day, same route for a while, you know where the cops can be and where we can't be. So always paying attention. So he brings back the paperwork and asks me to slow down in the future, hands it back to me, and lets me go without a ticket, without a warning. You know why? Because I have a clean record. That's the only reason. And I'm polite and professional. And if you do that same thing, that will help you out. Now, let me touch base. Holy crap, it's 14 something. Let me touch base on the warning. Unless it's a verbal warning. If you actually get a written warning, it will be on your record as a commercial driver. So it's actually more beneficial to you to get an actual ticket, not a warning, then hire a local attorney. And I'm not saying to go to court and fight that case. I mean, if you did something, you did something. It's all right. But in many cases, your attorney, especially you need to make sure it's a local attorney for that jurisdiction, and he goes to that courthouse all the time. You need to hire an attorney who can go to court and cut you a deal. Something along the lines, you were speeding, 10 miles an hour, and now, he goes to the court and talks to the judge, talks to the prosecutor, talks to the cop, and one of the following may happen. We may agree to change the ticket into non-mover. Something like you were driving without a hat in the winter. Something that won't go on the record. And sometimes, if it never gonna go past the cop. The cop, the lawyer will say, "Listen, this guy is a good guy. He never had a ticket before, and now this one is gonna affect his job and this and that. Can we make a deal? Give him a bigger ticket with lesser consequences, and let's find a happy medium. He's gonna learn his lesson, and your jurisdiction is gonna get paid, and everybody happy." So make sure you at least attempt to do that every time you get popped, and that's it. It's already like at least 2 minutes too long. So peace out, super drivers. Go make some money.